All right. It is 10:54 p.m. and I got some shit to tell y'all, and y'all got the ears to listen. This is a pretty important video, just like all of them. I don't think I made a single fucking video that's not important. And this is focused on young men. So men who maybe haven't talked to a lot of women, or men who don't talk to a lot of women at all or never did. This is for you. This song goes out to you. And this is just for individuals who's just trying to improve their interactions, right? There's always room for improvement. So if you think you the hot shit, somebody out there is a little bit hotter. So going into it, conversation versus interview. That's what this is all about. What does it look like to be having a conversation with somebody versus it being an interview? Well, I think we can all agree that when it comes to an interview, one person is usually 90% of the time doing the talking, while the other person is spending 90% of the time doing the answering. So let me rephrase that. Doing the questioning and the other person spending time doing the making these statements. So if you're interviewing a company, I don't see why I have to explain this, but I'm just breaking this shit down for y'all anyway, just in case y'all fucking stupid at 10:55 p.m. So if you're interviewing at a company, and what usually happens? As you get an interview, y'all sit down, maybe in person or on a Teams calls. You know, it's been more common for virtual calls for interviews. They're going to ask you questions, and you supposed to have the answers, or at least try to create an answer. And so this is what we call an interview. You know, it's the reason why I'm stuttering here is because, I mean, you should fucking know that. You know, but I'm just breaking it down to give you a separation. So now, when it comes to a conversation, how can a conversation turn into an interview? Now, this is more important. Your ass probably don't know this. A conversation can turn into an interview when one individual is asking more questions and giving less statements, and the other person is giving a lot of statements and / responses. So this tends to happen where guys are, whether through text or on the phone, they say, "So how was your day?" The woman responds. End of the statement, right? Now they go to, "Do you like any type of music? What type of music you like?" The woman responds. Next question. "What's your favorite movie?" The woman responds. Next question. "What type of scented candles you like?" You know, and it just goes on and on and on. And you see how that started to get fucking boring and annoying? If you don't see that, something wrong with you. Your ass need to go to the goddamn hospital, something. How the hell you don't see that? That sound fucking weird. What type of scented candles you like? Statement has been made. Next question. "Do you like R&B? Next question. "Have you been on any trips?" It gets like, if I spent the whole video just asking questions while you're over there answering, let's say this is supposed to be a question answer video, you would be like, "Okay, motherfucker, shut the hell up." Now you can see why some girls get fucking annoyed by that. And a lot of guys do this shit, asking all these fucking questions. And what makes this more annoying is when it's not even on topic. It's not like you asking their favorite scented candle versus their favorite song. Back this question came first, the next one was the favorite song. They have no correlation. None. Unless the song is about candles, there's no fucking correlation between the two. Can you smell a song? I'm pretty sure you cannot. So there's no fucking correlation between scented candles and fucking a 21 Savage song. There's no fucking correlation. So why are you asking these questions in succession with nothing in between? It shouldn't be a question like that back to back. It sounds boring as hell. Now, am I saying you can't do that at any point, right? If you ask a very specialty type of question, what do I mean when I say specialty? It's when you're asking a question that's only unique to that individual's life. So if you ask the question, like, let's say they have 5 kids, and you're like, oh, well, I don't even know why you teach his own. So let's say, you dealing with somebody with 5 kids, and you ask a question that's unique to them and their 5 kids. They give you a statement, and then you went to the next question. Okay, that's not a problem. They understand that. If you followed up with more questions based on the original question, that's not a problem. That's understandable. But when you are asking generic, you can ask anybody this shit, overall questions like your favorite song, your favorite candle, your favorite time to take a shit in the day, you are driving them nuts. Nuts. Nobody wants to deal with that shit. I don't want to deal with that. I'm gonna tune your ass out. If I was a woman and I'm gonna tune you, I'll probably hang up on your ass. I ain't about to fucking deal with that. So, I got some few points here to help out to keep you on the side of being a conversationalist versus being an interviewer. Yes, in a sense, when we talk about the first video I brought out, which is about rocking the boat, yeah, you are grilling them to some degree throughout the conversation. In a sense, you are interviewing them, but you're interviewing them tactfully through a conversation rather than just sitting down with a fucking scroll asking all these goddamn questions. That's not what the fuck we trying to do here. We trying to be tactful about this shit, not fucking obvious, Captain Obvious. And they know, they're not stupid. Anyways, so first point, ask a question, stay on topic. If not asked, if they don't give you a follow-up question based on your original question after they provided you an answer, you give them your own response. Now, again, this can be used through text, right? When you're texting somebody, this can be used, although it is way better that all of this is playing out on the phone. This is why I like to get on the phone with people ASAP motherfucking P. I ain't trying to fucking be texting all goddamn time. And honestly, I've became a piece of shit at texting lately. So it's even better if you just call me on the phone. So when you are on the phone, this is more focused for guys being on the phone with a woman. When you are on the phone, ask a question, an open-ended question. Like, hey, do you travel or do you like traveling? They say, yeah. Oh, what places you been? Or you could say, hey, to fill it all into one question, you could say, hey, do you like traveling? And if so, where have you been? Boo. That's one whole question. Technically a twofold question if you want to be goddamn anal about this shit. They give you a response. Let's say they just leave it as that. They gave you a response and it ended in a period, a statement, right? The response is a statement. So they didn't ask you no follow-up question like, but what about you? Okay. Could that be a display of lack of interest? Maybe, maybe not. We don't fucking know. We're not worried about that in this goddamn video. But when it comes to this, if they don't fucking follow up with a question, because not everybody does that all the time, you should be trying to provide a response. This is how you create conversation. Because let's say she mentions, oh, I've been to Greece, I went to Cancun the last year and all this other stuff, and you may have been to Greece. So now when she finishes her answer and you listen, you give your response, say, oh, damn, you been in Cancun? At Greece? Such and such, such and such. Yeah, I just went there this time of the year. I was there for a whole month or blah, 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 blah. That's a conversation. They shared, you responded with they made their statement, you give back a statement, and who knows, not all topics will pop off like this, but she may respond like, oh, for real, what you end up doing there? Boom. Now you give another response. So now you without trying to get her to ask you questions or ask her to do so, because you showed an interest and this is why you need to live a life. You had interest in something that was similar to hers and you shared that. That sparked an interest in continuing that topic. So she asked you a question. Now the topic continues. See, and this removes and this reduces the amount of fucking questions you gotta plan in your head before you call a person. Cause now you ain't gotta fucking call the woman with a goddamn scroll of 1,000 questions to potentially ask. You can just call with a scroll of potentially 5 or 10, depending on how long that conversation is gonna go. So, and depending on how long y'all stay on certain topics, if you do this shit right, stay on fucking topic. Don't be bouncing topics all the time. You have to be a person of focus. And you can't be focusing if your ass is playing a goddamn game and trying to talk on the phone with somebody. Especially for these grown ass men out here who's dating 30-plus-year-old women. They don't play that shit. And they can smell that shit a mile away. Probably. I would think they could. You could sometimes kind of tell when somebody isn't showing a considerable level of interest in the conversation with you. So, especially if they distracted, you could feel it. You could feel it on the phone, even if you're not looking at them. So, you don't want to give off that type of vibe. So, you need to be primarily focusing on the phone call. So, when you set up a phone call with somebody, it should be at a time when you're able to give the majority of your undivided attention to have a substantial conversation. This is how you get with them in their mind. This is how you develop their mental interest with you, not just fucking physical. So when you do this, it's going to benefit you a lot in the long run versus you just fucking half-assing and then they lose interest because you wasn't paying enough attention. That's how y'all fuck shit up. Fucking idiots. Next. Don't ask a million different questions. I already said this, but don't ask a million different questions on multiple different subjects in succession. Like I just described. What songs you like? Next question. Do you read? Next question. What degree you have? Next question. Have you ever eaten a bag of chips? Next question. Have you ever peed upside down? Come on, bruh. Come on, bruh. Come on, bruh. Come on. Chill this shit out. Like, you can't be asking these type of questions. And look, I did this shit before. Sometimes I do it again. You know, you down. Look, we ain't fucking perfect. We human beings. Last time I checked, I breathe CO2. I breathe carbon dioxide. I breathe the same fucking air everybody else fucking breathe. So we all subject to fuck up. It just happens. But you improve. Simple as that. So don't ask a million different questions in succession. It's not cool. Nobody likes that shit. And at some point they get bored because that's not a conversation. Like I just said, that falls into the category of what? An interview. You are not an interviewer. You are a conversationalist. You are trying to communicate with this person. So communicate. Don't be an idiot. Next, have substantial topics that you are well versed in prepared. If you are somebody who's very introverted, especially, or you're somebody who you tend to get nervous when you're talking to strangers, or in this case, women, you should do preparation. Perfect example. Sometimes people, I like to watch like, Batman and stuff like that. And people always talk about how Batman's the greatest because, he got 100,000%. It's always his prep time to make him good. Prep time. Let's just hypothetically say that's really how they want to design Batman, right? That this dude is always prepared to handle situations, which, I mean, for him being a human, it seemed like he is based on how the show goes, right? So that's how you want to be. You want to be a man who is prepared for a situation, prepared for potential outcomes, having contingency plans. What if any questions that you ask off the dome isn't working? Okay, then, or let's say she is very different than you. She's a surfer girl or some crazy shit that you don't fucking do or never did yet. So any questions you ask her is just going to be unique to her because you don't know anything about surfing. You don't know shit. But so you want to have things that can show and tell that, hey, I get out the door too. I'm not always sitting in my fucking house. So you should also have topics that you want to share and discuss. Again, this is not where you just ask her a fucking surface level question like, oh, I see you do surfing, however you do it. She give you an answer, and now you over here like, hey, speaking of surfing, haha, hey, I do this thing on the side and blah 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 blah. That can come off as braggadocious. That's not what we doing around these parts of the streets. We are not trying to come off like we're trying to brag. We're not trying to come off like we're just trying to throw things in people's faces. You want it to come off as if it's natural. A lot of people care about things coming about naturally. So if you want this to come off naturally, instead of, when I say topics prepared that you are well versed in, this is still things that you would ask them questions on. And ideally, if you're finding somebody that matches some level of your interest, even if it's just simple shit like traveling or something like that, you're going to be able to give back in the conversation so that it looks more and sounds more like a conversation rather than a fucking interview. Because if you end up talking to a woman who does surfing, snowboarding, she's always traveling, she doesn't work a 9 to 5 and all these other crazy shit, and you're the exact opposite, it's going to be kind of hard to have a conversation with somebody like that because y'all about different. Y'all too different. But you can have a great conversation with these types of people, especially depending on the type of person they are. But you still want to be prepared with your own topics that you can give substantial statements on, that you can share substantially, that can show them like, hey, without throwing it in their face, hey, I do cool things too, right? You don't want to let somebody who only just sits in their house and hold their goddamn nuts and eat fucking hot Cheetos all day. That's not what you try and look like. So have substantial topics. Next, attention to detail. Like I said, don't be playing a motherfucking game and trying to talk on the phone. You would do that at some point down the road with them, but it's especially in the beginning when you're trying to get to know somebody and you want them to feel that you have interest in them mentally and emotionally, not just fucking what's between their goddamn legs. If you want to pull a woman's interest in that level, in that type of category, you have to be paying a fucking attention, especially if you on fucking video chat. You're an idiot if you gonna play the game and you on video chat. Again, you can do this sometimes, if you comfortable with fucking Becky over there that you've been talking to for 2-3 months or whatever. Yeah, it probably won't hurt sometimes, but when I'm especially in the beginning, that's where I'm really emphasizing this shit at. Don't be fucking doing something that's going to take away a lot of your focus. No human is able to split their brain in half and say, I'm going to focus one eye and one half of my brain over here and focus the other half and other eye over here. Focus half my nose over here and the other half over here. Focus half my mouth eating this shit and the other half going to eat this, and none of them is going to touch. It's going to mix and mingle. There is diminishing returns when you are trying to multitask. And I think I've explained this before, but I'm going to say it again. When you're doing something like playing a game and then trying to have a profound conversation with somebody, one of those is going to lose power while the other one is going to gain a lot more of your focus. So it could be either you're going to be getting your ass whooped on the video game. This the video game, getting your ass whooped on the video game, but your conversation game is up. Or your conversation some shit with the woman, but your video game, you ain't getting your ass whooped. You whooping ass. You see what I mean? You're doing both. You see how this is still here? You're doing both, but one is being overpowered by the other because your brain is going to primarily focus on one thing at a time. It will allow you to do something on the side, but really what's really going on with multitasking is you're shifting your focus. Every time you respond to her while you're playing the game, you just shifted your focus, and it's constantly shifting. This is like, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. You're constantly shifting focus, and for every sentence you're saying, every word you're saying, every syllable you saying while you're playing the game, that is a quick shift in focus every fucking time. I don't see why people think you can do two things at the same time at 100% capacity. That shit don't work. It don't work. So don't fucking be playing the goddamn game or anything else that's going to take too much of your time. If you want to fucking study, then fucking focus on study and tell her ass you can call her ass later. Simple. Minimize interjections. Right. All right. So this is pretty important. This kind of touches on the communication video I did previously where I said you can interject tactfully, but although you have to still be mindful about when you interject. So same thing here. You can I'm just saying minimize your interjections. It is more okay to interject someone in a friendly banter, a conversation, than it is to interject your woman in an argument, right? We're human beings. We make fucking mistakes. You're going to fucking do it. It's going to happen. It is what it is. Although you want to minimize interjections, you don't want to do this shit all the fucking time. That's not what we do here. Oh, you don't want to do this majority of the time. Don't use absolutes. But you get my fucking point. If you do it all the time, what I'm really just saying is just majority of the time. But again, I don't want to look like somebody who's changing definitions on shit. But yeah, minimize interjections. If she says something that got you real excited, try to be patient. Let her finish her statement, because she may say something else that you would have loved to hear. But if you cut her off, and then she may fucking forget, and then now you lost it, right? So try to minimize interjections. I don't really see a lot of young women, especially if she's interested in you, getting annoyed if you interject every so often throughout a 2-hour long or 1 hour long conversation. Especially if y'all having a great conversation about a multitude of different topics, but you still want to be mindful and show some respect. You have to give respect to receive it. If you don't want somebody interjecting you, even in a friendly banter, then you need to shut the fuck up when she's talking and let her speak. Then you speak. Simple as that. And really, if you're being patient to listen and you're not interjecting, you'll be surprised how many people fucking talk your ear off. You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised how long they'll fucking talk. You'll be surprised. And this helps you out, because now you don't sound like no fucking idiot when you say something stupid out your mouth. Don't be domineering the conversations. This is the opposite of interjections, but this is not the opposite. I take that back. When you interject, it's the opposite of minimizing interjections. That's what I was trying to say. It's the opposite of minimizing interjections, but it's not the opposite when you're just interjecting overall. That's what I mean. So what I'm trying to say is that if someone is constantly interjecting and cutting somebody off in a conversation, and at some point that the receiver, the one who's dealing with that bullshit, is going to feel that they can't be heard. They're not being listened to. So now they're upset. They're frustrated. And guess what? You're domineering the conversation. You're controlling the conversation. You're speaking so much to the point that you're overpowering the other speaker. You got to give room for people to stand. You can't be fucking overpowering the other person. Guys, you can't do this shit. You have to fucking give room to people. Let everybody have their own fucking box. Can't be fucking standing near them like y'all about to goddamn kiss all the damn time. You got to give people goddamn space. So don't fucking domineer the conversation. You are not nobody's boss, especially somebody that you're trying to get to know. You're a regular human being. You don't know this person, so you should be trying to uphold the best respects, because you don't know them. They're a fucking stranger, and it's somebody that you want to be with or date, or whatever case may be. So if you're trying to fucking date the person, don't fucking overpower them in a goddamn conversation. It's pathetic. So that's all that I have. Like I said, don't be a fucking idiot. Ask questions. Stay on motherfucking topic when you ask certain questions. Give information. Give back. And you're probably like, well, how can I give back information if I have nothing to give? Then you need to go outside more. Some of y'all fucking sitting here playing 2K 2026 all fucking day, getting mad at the goddamn game, but you ain't go outside and play some basketball. Have some stories to tell. Some of y'all just goddamn boring. Shit. Boring as hell. Boring as all hell. Nothing to listen to. Same shit. Same old shit. Fucking get some goddamn hobbies, man, that makes you step outside. Step out the door and meet new people. Some of y'all are fucking boring. Get a meetup group, something. But don't fucking sit in your house. Like, it's nothing wrong with being a homebody and being an introvert and being kept to yourself, but you gotta have a balance. Everything needs to have a balance. You can't offer substantial conversations if you have nothing to conversate about. And that makes this entire video and the previous one fucking pointless Well, not the previous one, but this one definitely. It makes this completely pointless when you're trying to talk to a woman who actually does go out, who actually does hang out with her friends on a frequent basis, who actually does try to meet new people and get to know them, who actually does fucking do meetup groups, who actually does fucking travel a lot. If you somebody who does none of that shit or almost rarely, you're gonna have a hard fucking time having conversations with people like that unless she's the same way as you. You're gonna have a hard fucking time and you're gonna miss out on a lot of great people because you're not trying to explore life. You know, it's definitely important to be on your grind and be on your purpose, but at some point you do have to have a balance. You can't be making it all about I need to make the next dollar. I'm anxious as fuck. You gotta have a fucking balance. Being in that mindset of stress all the time is why stress is one of the number one killers. Cause y'all too stressed out worrying about the fucking next dollar you get and where you gonna get it, working 2 jobs and all this other shit. So like I said, ask questions, be on topic. Don't be fucking domineering the conversation. Don't ask a million fucking different questions in succession. Be well versed in have substantial topics that you are well versed in. Attention to detail. Don't be playing the motherfucking game. Minimize interjections. Be tactful, like always. And that's about it. All right. Appreciate y'all motherfucking time. Have a good one.